Hey guys, my name is Daniel Morad and I race in the IMSA Weather Sportscar Championship in real life. I race in the GT Daytona class in a Mercedes AMG GT3. I'm definitely no stranger to endurance racing. I was a 2017 Rolex 24-hour at Daytona winner in the GT Daytona class, and I know a thing or two about what it takes to win in endurance racing. And what I'm going to do today is share 5 major keys as to how to approach an endurance race, whether it's in real life or in iRacing. And to do so, I'm gonna jump into my rig.
Welcome to my office. This is where you're gonna find me typically Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I live stream on Twitch, predominantly iRacing. And if it's not iRacing, then it's my real life onboard footage that I'm showing from my GT Daytona car in the IMSA Weather Sportscar Championship. So hopefully I can see you guys here soon and see you jump in the chat and ask some questions. The number one question I'm asked is the similarity between iRacing and the real deal. And spoiler alert, the comparison is so close. There's so many similarities that it's getting scary. The best thing about iRacing is that you can just hit reset, though. You can't do that in real life. It's a very expensive button to push reset in real life. But without further ado, I am going to give you 5 of my major tips as to how I approach endurance racing, my mentality, and just the major keys to being successful in an endurance race in general. And I hope these tips will help you in your iRacing journey in the future. The first tip, and probably the most important that's not really spoken about much on the online community, is racing etiquette and how different car classes can coexist together on track and how they communicate with each other. I think that's something that it's frustrating for me as I do some iRacing official races, especially in the IMSA series. I do that typically as I do it in real life. I love following the IMSA schedule in iRacing. You know, just the way that the two car classes communicate with each other is sometimes less than ideal. Let's just say that. And especially for the newcomers into iRacing, you know, somebody that's just joined, got their license class up and is looking to run in the GT class, for instance. And then you have the LMP2 drivers. Oh, the LMP2 drivers. How we all love them. But GTD drivers, especially the new ones, is moving off of your line. There's no need to move off of your line. It's very important to communicate with the cars around you. If you are on your racing line, you see a faster car coming up behind you, like an LMP2 car on the straight, and then you immediately, you know, as the LMP2 car is moving over to overtake you down the inside, you start moving down towards the inside thinking that you're doing the right thing by giving the car behind you the racing line. That's actually the opposite of what you should be doing. It's very unpredictable. Predictability is so important because you can't talk to each other with your words on track. I mean, unless you're using the radio function, it's very important to communicate with car language and to show what your intentions are very early, especially as the speeds are increasing. So major tip, racing etiquette. Don't think you're doing the car behind you a favor by moving offline. Stay on your line, be predictable, and allow the faster traffic to pass you down the inside or to move off of the ideal racing line to overtake you. Don't move for anybody unless they're on the inside of you, and don't turn down to the apex. You have to leave at the space. Everyone knows you have to leave at the space. Okay? Key tip, leave the space. Number 2 is patience and consistency. Endurance races aren't won by one single fast lap. It's always won by the car that can manage their tires, manage the fuel burn, manage their pace on track, not making mistakes, minimizing those errors. It's all about having the fastest stint possible, not the fastest lap. You can do one fast lap, but throw everything away by driving off, by braking too late, or trying to get that one extra tenth. It's a lot easier to dial it back 0.1% than it is to send it all the time and make that mistake where you end up losing 2 or 3 seconds. So being patient, being consistent, that's what wins you endurance races. It's not fast laps. So remember that as you guys are driving, it's all about dialing it back a little bit and playing the long game as you go into these 24, 12-hour, 10-hour or 6-hour races. It's very important to have clean stints and nice consistent stints. The next point is managing traffic. Managing traffic ties into racing etiquette, but at the same time, how you manage the traffic is very important, especially as a GT car. That's something I'm comfortable with in real life as being a GTD driver. We're driving GT3 cars, and managing the prototype traffic is one of the most tricky elements in endurance racing. Driving the car fast is one thing, but managing traffic is an area where you can gain or lose time on your opponents if you do it correctly. And the correct way to manage traffic is not to race faster cars down to the apex. If you see a faster car approaching and looking inside to make that overtaking maneuver, being heads up and proactive rather than reactive is what's going to make the difference between losing 2 seconds in a corner from traffic or maintaining or maybe losing 2 or 3 tenths and minimizing that time loss. It's all about minimizing time loss over your stint. So being proactive rather than reactive, scanning the mirrors behind you if you're in the slower class car, and basically lifting and coasting before braking. That's number one, saving you fuel. And number two, you're allowing the car behind you to overtake cleanly so you can both make it through the center of the corner on the ideal racing line. There's no sense in trying to race a car down to the apex, you being pushed wide and the car overtaking you, being pinched off on the exit, so you're both losing time. Work together, be predictable. If you see a car overtaking you or looking to overtake you down the inside, especially a faster class car, lift early, allow the traffic to naturally flow through, and then tuck in behind and carry on with consistent lap times. Point number 4 is saving your equipment. All these, as you can see, the common trend or the theme here is, being consistent, being safe, being predictable, managing and saving your equipment. There's nothing worse than driving in an endurance race with banged up equipment or tires that are absolutely lava falling off the car, melting off the car. So managing your equipment, managing your car, and limiting damage is going to be so important in endurance racing because you have to carry that damage all the way through the race, and you want to spend less times in the pits and more time on the track. Dial that aggression back just a fraction to ensure that you save your equipment and you're being safe on the track and managing everything well. The final point, and probably one of the more important ones for your personal enjoyment, is your mindset and your mentality going into these races. It's important to set your expectations to have fun. Be honest, assume responsibility when it's your fault, come in with a positive mindset and no expectations. The worst thing you can do as a performer is set an expectation or a predetermined result before you go into any competition, because you're only setting yourself up to fail if you don't achieve those results that you've set for yourself. So the best thing you can do is come in with a positive mindset, be happy, be thankful that you even have a simulator or iRacing in general to enjoy. The only expectation that you should set for yourself is to perform at 100% of your own personal capabilities and no more than that, because whenever you push over 100%, that's when you set yourself up for failure as well. So make sure you enjoy it, guys. Hopefully these tips are going to help you in the future, whether it helps you for upcoming races in the very near future or down the road. I really do hope you enjoyed it. And if you guys do have any more questions regarding racing, iRacing, any tips, tricks, anything of that nature, be sure to jump into my Twitch. Again, it's Moradness is my username. So I really do hope I see you there. And you can also follow me on Instagram at Daniel Morad. So I'm looking forward to reading your messages and seeing you on track in the very near future. And good luck to you guys. Take care.